Kids are under a lot of pressure these days to succeed in pretty much everything they do. But to get an extra edge, some kids
are relying on personal trainers to shape up.
The key to keeping the kids safe is to remember they're not many adults, they're developing humans.
Coming up, did you know hundreds of thousands of American kids have personal trainers? We'll check on the surprising numbers and the safety risks of having children as young as 3 going to the gym for workouts. Would you believe that more than 460,000 kids in the U.S. under 13 have personal trainers? We know childhood obesity is a growing problem in the U.S., something First Lady Michelle Obama is working hard to change. But are personal trainers and having kids as young as 3 going to gyms the right answer? Joining us now is Tom Holland, a world-renowned exercise physiologist, a certified sports nutritionist, and CEO of Team Holland, a fitness consulting company. For 2 years, Tom taught a class called Fit Kids, geared toward skill-building fitness gains. That sounds like fun.
It's a lot to say.
I know, it is a lot to say, but it sounds like fun. I'm not sure that personal trainers for kids sounds like fun. And this number, 460,000, it's triple the number that were out there in 2009. What is going on?
It's crazy, right? I think we're getting a little nutty with sports. And I've got 2 boys myself, 5 and 8, and where I live, you know, it's crazy with sports. People are putting their kids in sports younger and younger, they're specializing younger and younger, and they're getting injured as a result.
So do you think that's what is motivating all this?
It's a huge part of it, I think. I think, you know, a lot of parents out there think their kid's going to be the next Tiger Woods. They want that to happen. There's a lot of competition all across the country to have your kid be the best at that sport. So that's part of it. Like, what can I do to get him even better?
Even better at baseball, even better at tennis, even better at golf.
Yeah.
That's, you think, what the motivating factor is on the personal trainer side?
It's not the safety part. You know, it's not that we want Joey to be injury free. It's we want Joey to be as good as possible.
And you don't think it's much about the obesity epidemic? You think it's more about that than anything else?
No, I wish we could say that, but I don't think it is.
And what about this whole CrossFit phenomenon? It's been a big deal for adults. It's had some controversy, but it's been very, very popular, very successful. But you now have this CrossFit for kids, where you've got kids as young as 3 going to adult gyms to do some of these programs.
Yeah. I think especially the CrossFit for kids, you know, the CrossFit, a lot of exercise physiologists will find it problematic. You know, they're doing risky exercises for time. So there's a lot of injuries in CrossFit itself. So then when you extrapolate that down to the kids,
now they're saying that they're not pushing them, that there's not a time component with the kids, that it's more about having fun.
Right.
You don't believe it?
Yeah, and I went to the website and I saw, you know, the picture for the kids was a girl, young, she must have been 4 or 5 years old, on a rowing machine. So that was the picture, you know, to kind of set the tone for what it is. And I looked at the workouts. In my opinion, they're very aggressive. So
this is not just, you know, like my gym or the indoor gyms that people in big cities take their kids to.
I think that's what they want to sell it as being. And once you get in the door, it looks like they're changing the routine around a little bit.
And do you think that could be a problem?
I think it is. I think at a young age, you know, my kids, again, 5'8", I don't have them strength training. I spend my life strength training, you know, and they're not going to strength train till, I'm thinking, 10 or 11 years old. And even then, it's going to be very limited. I believe in developing the motor coordination. You have to get the neuromuscular connections to your muscles, right? That's what, you know, even adults have problems with. The adult goes to a gym and he has problem, he or she, learning how to lift. Now, the 6 or 7-year-old, you know, they don't have basic balance and coordination yet. So that's really problematic.
And certainly weights, you're looking at, I don't know exactly what that little boy was doing. He was just hanging from something or pushing something up. But weights is something that kids should not be doing until they hit puberty, right?
You know, the research is different now. So when you and I were younger, they said, you know, they were really worried about it stunting your growth. Surprisingly enough, National Strength and Conditioning Association says 6 years old. I disagree that you could start strength training, and they're recommending strength training 3 times a week, 6 years. Yeah. I find that ridiculously early. And again, this is someone who I spend my life about this.
You can't build until you have certain hormones in your body, so it's not like you're going to really build much muscle.
Right.
So it seems like it makes very little sense, aside from the stunting growth issue.
Right, and what they would say in their defense, they would say, well, we're not about building muscle, we're about building bone density, about preventing injury, about neuromuscular coordination. I still think play a bunch of different sports. If you're a hockey player, play soccer. Learn skill acquisition through play, not through organized strength training. Again, I think 10, 11 years old, sure, especially if you're playing sports pretty aggressively, but even then it's got to be minimal.
And so 3 to 5 year olds should just basically go to the playground and do their thing, and then once they get a little bit older, then team sports is the way to go.
That's where we get good. And I've had the fortune, good fortune to interview a lot of people myself. I had a radio show and a lot of professional athletes, and I would always ask them, did you specialize? When did you start doing this stuff? And most would attribute playing many different sports to their success. They became great athletes by playing a bunch of different things, not by sitting in a weight room lifting. I don't think Michael Phelps was lifting it at 6. Right. Maybe it was, but
that certainly brings up a lot of questions. A lot of questions for parents that they need to think about with this weird new phenomenon.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, it's great to have you with us.
Thanks so much
for coming
for having
in.
me.